The Fortinet FortiGate Next Generation Firewall can be deployed in Azure in a variety of ways, using Azure Marketplace access through the Azure portal, through Azure Marketplace accessed via azuremarketplace.microsoft.com, from Fortinet's GitHub repository of FortiGate deployment architectures, or as a custom template uploaded from your own code. The focus of this video is deploying a standalone single Fortinet FortiGate Next Generation Firewall through the Azure Marketplace, accessed via the Azure portal. Simply search for the Fortinet FortiGate Next Generation Firewall. There are multiple deployment options available: a single FortiGate, active-passive FortiGates with Fabric Connector failover, active-active FortiGates using Azure load balancers for traffic distribution, and active-passive FortiGates using Azure load balancers for traffic direction, sending traffic to the active FortiGate. To install a standalone FortiGate, select Single from the drop-down menu of the Fortinet FortiGate Next Generation Firewall Azure application. The Azure application is the best choice because it creates all the required Azure resources for a successful FortiGate Next Generation Firewall deployment. For example, the virtual network and subnets, public IPs, route tables, network security groups, and network security rules. After clicking Single VM, you will be brought to the Basics page of the Create Fortinet FortiGate Next Generation Firewall. Select your subscription and create a resource group, or select an existing one. Pick the region where the FortiGate is to be deployed. Specify an administrative username and password and confirm the password. Enter a prefix for the FortiGate name and pick the image type that you are deploying. Bring your own license or pay as you go. The Bring Your Own License image supports a license file or a FlexVM token. Either one can be provided as part of the deployment or can be obtained and assigned to the FortiGate after deployment. The pay-as-you-go image license is automatically assigned as part of the FortiGate deployment. Register the license with FortiCare at support.fortinet.com regardless of the license type. Select your desired image version. To continue, click the Next Instance button. On the instance page, you can utilize the default instance type, or you can select a new one by changing the size. Choose an availability option: no redundancy, availability set, or availability zone. License options presented will be different depending on the image type that was selected. If you selected the Bring Your Own License image, specify if you are using a FlexVM license or if you are uploading a license file. If you selected the pay-as-you-go license image, then the license is generated as part of the deployment, and Bring Your Own License options are not available. Finally, provide a name for the FortiGate. A potential name is suggested. You can keep it or enter a new one. To continue, click the Next Networking button. On the networking page, a virtual network, subnets, and suggested addresses will be selected based on availability of networks within your subscription. These can be left as is or changed by clicking the Create New link under the virtual network name. Select Accelerated Networking Enabled if you would like to enable accelerated networking for your network interfaces. Accelerated networking is not supported on every Azure instance. If the FortiGate instance type supports accelerated networking, it will be enabled. To continue, click the Next Public IP button. The public IP name and type can be left as it is, or it can be changed by clicking the Create New link under the public IP address dropdown. To continue, click the Next Advanced button. On the Advanced page, you can specify whether you are connecting to FortiManager. If yes, supply the FortiManager IP address and the FortiManager serial number. You can also supply custom data that will be added to the FortiGate configuration. For example, add the FortiGate configuration code for a virtual IP. Enable Serial Console access to the FortiGate through the Azure portal by selecting Yes for Enable Serial Console. If Serial Console access is enabled, a storage account will be created as part of the deployment, as it is required by the Serial Console service. To continue, click the Next Review and Create button. After Azure finishes validating the configuration on the Review and Create page, click the Create button and start the FortiGate deployment. When the FortiGate deployment is complete, click on the Go to Resource Group button. Here you will see all the resources that were created as part of the FortiGate deployment. To access the FortiGate, retrieve the public IP address that was assigned to the FortiGate's external interface. Open a web browser and specify that public IP address. Accept the self-signed certificate and log into the FortiGate. You will see a fully functional FortiGate that's ready for configuration for the FortiGate's role in your organization. Under Policies and Objects, we can see the virtual IP that was specified as part of the custom data on the Advanced page during the deployment. Start deploying Fortinet FortiGate Next Generation firewalls in your Azure environments today. It's that easy.